like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another Sega Master System review. Now it will come as no surprise that I am reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog. It is one of the most well-known games on the system, the biggest Sega franchise of all time. It saw a release in October of 1991 in America and was the final official released game in the system. It came out the following month in the PAL region in November, and it didn't actually get a Japan release because Master System support actually ended in 1989 over there, and they actually missed out on a massive amount of some of the Master System games. So today we will be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog for the Master System. Now I am going to point out at the start of this video, this is the PAL version, the 50Hz version, because this is the version I played growing up. And I actually believe it's suited to playing at this speed. I think the music is slightly too quick, in all fairness, if you're playing it at 60Hz. This is just my opinion though, it doesn't make too much of a difference to the game. And like always, we will be taking a look at how it looks, how it sounds, how it plays, what kind of content and lifespan it's got, and where it can end up in our ever-growing Master System Top 10. So like I always do, I'm going to start with visuals first, and without a doubt Sonic on the Master System is one of the system's very best looking games. It is bright and colourful. Sonic looks really good and he is well animated as well. The stages have got fantastic variety which makes them all stand out. You don't get bored when you're going through the game because it's always changing. The levels are fantastic, and it's not just a demake of the Mega Drive version, it's a completely different version of Sonic, which at the time made it an essential purchase. It wasn't a case of, oh, it's not as good as the Mega Drive version. It's a completely different game and it was well worth owning both of them. In terms of downsides visually, there aren't too many because you're only going to get a bit of slowdown towards the end of the game. And in terms of sprite flicker, yes, you get it when you have the shield item. Now, it's not noticeable really when you're playing the game because you're concentrating on all the jumps, but when you're going back and watching the footage to do a review like I'm now, you realise how noticeable that is. You don't really get much sprite flicker in terms of enemies and stuff. You only get a little bit towards the end of the game on some platforms and stuff. So overall, it's really good. The only downside being when you've got the shield item. So moving on to sound effects and music, and it is really hard to summarize how good the soundtrack is to Sonic on the Master System. It is every bit, if not even more memorable than the Mega Drive version in my opinion, and that is no small feat because the Mega Drive version of Sonic has a great soundtrack. But the soundtrack for this game is just simply brilliant. Every single theme for each stage is fantastic. I couldn't say there is a weak track within the game at all. It really is that good, and they all fit the stages well. There's plenty of variety in the music too, which makes it even better. Moving on to the sound effects, there's no flaws here as well. It's a great sounding game in that regard too, whether you're bouncing around the stages on a special stage, jumping on enemies, collecting boxes. It sounds brilliant. It really is a great example of what the Master System can do. So what I'm going to do is give you a few examples so you can have a listen for yourselves. So moving on to gameplay next, I'm sure the large majority of the world will be very familiar with the formula in the early Sonic games. It was very simple. You move through the levels, collect rings, defeat enemies, free all the animals that Robotnik is imprisoned, collect the Chaos Emeralds, and eventually defeat Robotnik. Now in the Master System version there are 6 stages, each with 3 acts. On the 3rd act of every stage you will face Robotnik in a boss battle. If you can finish the stage with 50 rings but less than 100, you will go on to the special stage. If you actually collect 100, your ring counter will reset and you will not go to the bonus stage. So you have to bear that in mind when you're playing the game. On the special stages, you can collect rings, you can collect extra lives, and you can collect continues. It is not where you collect the Chaos Emeralds on this version, unlike the Mega Drive version. The emeralds are hidden within the standard stages, so you do have to do a little bit of an exploration to be able to collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds. In terms of controlling Sonic, it's really simple and easy to play. You move with the D-pad, you jump with one of the 2 buttons, and you can do a rolling dash attack when you run and press down. Sonic controls really well. He's responsive. He doesn't have any slipperiness in terms of his jumps and his landing, and it's a really great playing game. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, the Master System version is easier in my eyes than the Mega Drive version. The first half of this game, you're probably not going to lose many, if any, lives, and you can build up quite a substantial number of lives and continues, which means you'll have a really good chance of completing this game in one go. Now, the actual level design here is probably a little bit different to what you might have expected if you've come from the Mega Drive version. There's not really much breakneck speed sections here. A lot of the levels are just methodical, thought-based platforming, but the good thing is Sonic pulls it off brilliantly, and the Master System version of Sonic is a truly great playing game. So moving on to content and lifespan, and like I said before, there are 6 stages, each one has 3 acts. We've got Green Hill Zone, Bridge Zone, Jungle Zone, Labyrinth Zone, Scrap Brain Zone, and the Sky Base Zone. There are 8 special stages as well, so there's quite a lot of levels to see. Now the game's probably going to take around 45 minutes to play through, and there are 2 endings, one where you don't collect all the emeralds and one where you do. So the game does have replay value in that regard, and it does give you a final score at the end of the game, so you could always go back and try and beat your highest score, especially if you've got a friend you can take it in turns, because the game doesn't have a 2-player mode. But saying that, 45 minutes to play through for a Master System platformer isn't too bad. If you compare it with some of the other games we've already looked at on the system, games like My Hero, Transbot the Ninja, those games do not have much content and lifespan. So in terms of its content and its lifespan, Sonic on the Master System isn't too bad. Now, like always, that leaves us with our 2 final questions. Is Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System still worth playing today? And where will it feature in our ever-growing Master System Top 10? Now, if you're a Sonic fan and you have never played this game before, I would strongly suggest you go and play it, because there's every chance you're going to enjoy it. It's a great-looking Master System title with a great soundtrack, and it plays really well and is enjoyable as well. So without a doubt, I strongly recommend that you go and try Sonic on the Master System for yourself. Now, where does it feature in our Master System Top 10? Well, without a doubt, it is better than a lot of the games lower down the list straight away without even thinking about it. It is much better than My Hero, Streets of Rage 2, Street Fighter 2, Transbot, although that's a decent game. Sonic is far better. Sonic is a better platforming game than Alex Kidd in Miracle World, and that's tough because that's a great game, and Sonic is a much better game overall than the Ninja as well. The big question is Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System better than the Master System version of Streets of Rage? And it is a really tough one, because graphically they are both very good. Both of them have got fantastic soundtracks. Both of them play really good too. But I think for me the deciding factor is the fact that Sonic is completely different to the Mega Drive version. It is a completely unique game from the ground up, whereas the Master System version of Streets of Rage was just a D-port of the Mega Drive version. And although that's a great port, I feel the fact that Sonic is an original title means it is well worth coming in at the #1 spot, meaning we have a new leader in the Master System Top 10 in the form of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and my thoughts alone. I know a lot of people will probably actually comment on the fact that I've reviewed the PAL version at 50 Hz rather than the 60 Hz NST NTSC version. But again, like I said, I grew up with this version. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System. Of course, this is the first Sonic on the Master System. We've got several other Sonic games to cover in the future as well, and I'm genuinely looking forward to playing those games once again. That is it for this week. I will be back in the near future with another review. Goodbye for now.